What's good? What's good? It's the one and only, but what do I know? Boxing coming back at y'all with another one, man. So we have Jamal Charlo and Carlos Adames in the news today. Carlos Adames feels as though, or at least his team, and I'm pretty sure he's on the same page. He feels as though Charlo, he will not get a Charlo fight, all right? So I'm gonna dig into it. I'm gonna let you know what was being said, and then I'm gonna give you my opinion about the matters, all right? Shout out to BoxingScene.com. It says, Santos says, I don't see how Charlo can beat Carlos Adames. Get sense that the fight never takes place. Alright. So, you know, it's published by Keith Idec or whatnot. But it says Carlos Adames would have preferred to fight Jamal Charlo last month, not an opponent that the undefeated Charlo knocked out 6.5 years ago. The Dominican Republic's Adames owns the WBC interim middleweight title and therefore should be next in line to fight Charlo for Charlo's 160-pound crown. Bob Santos, Adames' trainer, still doesn't think that his emerging fighter will ever get the opportunity to challenge Charlo, who hasn't fought in 2 years. Santos watched Jamal and his twin brother Jamel spar countless of times when Santos worked with Erislandy Lara. Based on what Santos has seen, the veteran trainer is completely confident Adames would be too much for the long sidelined Houston native if they fought. Adames is just a different level of an athlete, Santos told BoxingScene.com. It is what it is. He's a cut above. He's gifted as any athlete I've seen. All things being equal, the camps being equal, everybody got in the best shape of their life. I don't see how Charlo could beat Carlos Adames. And now you got to talk about Charlo, who hasn't fought in 2 years. I think he'd be hard pressed to beat Carlos Adames. Adames, who has the record of 23-1 with 18 knockouts, made the first defense of his WBC interim middleweight title against Julian J. Rod Williams, who now has the record of 28-4 with 16 knockouts. Last month at the Armory in Minneapolis, FanDuel Sportsbooks had established Adames more than a 5-1 favorite against the Philadelphia Williams and former IBF, IBA, WBA 154 champion. The 29-year-old Adames would stop Williams in the 9th round. Prior to that, Adames demolished Mexico's Juan Montiel by 3rd round knockout in October at the Dignity Health Sports Park in Carson, California. Montiel gave Charlo more trouble than expected, but Charlo won their 12-round decision. The 12-round bout by the unanimous decision at the Toyota Center in Houston. Charlo, who's 33, hasn't fought since his victory over Montiel. The former IBF junior middleweight champion was supposed to defend his WBC belt against Poland's Maciej a year ago at the Toyota Center, but Charlo withdrew from that fight reportedly due to a back injury suffered while doing road work. Charlo later acknowledged that personal problems prolonged what was already a lengthy layoff. Charlo still hasn't have a fight scheduled, though he and Demetrius Andrade talked about putting their long discussed bout last month on Instagram Live. Santos is convinced that Adames won't be one of the opponents Charlo considers whenever he returns. I'm not God, so I don't want to say 100%, Santos said, but I'm 90% sure that Charlo is never going to step in the ring with Carlos Adames. There's a lot of times people say risk versus reward, and I know Charlo pretty well. Like I said, I've watched them over maybe 1,000 or more rounds while I was with Erislandy Lara, and everything Charlo can do, Adames can do better. Both left-handed and right-handed. Adames fights right hand and left hand. He's got faster hands, bigger puncher I've seen, and a bigger puncher than I've seen Adames spar with David Benavidez, Caleb Plant, and all these guys. I know for a fact he's the bigger puncher than Charlo. He's got faster hands and he has faster feet. So I don't see what Charlo would be able to do in any way, shape, form to beat him. Obviously, it's professional fighting and anybody can get caught with a big shot, but outside of hitting the lottery, I don't see what Charlo would be able to do, and therefore I just don't think they would ever take that fight, because he knows Adames does everything. He knows Adames does everything better at a higher level, both right hand, left hand. So in their minds, why would they ever take that fight? They know Carlos is a beast. He's an animal. So I just get the sense that that fight will never take place. Let's talk about it. All right, man. So listen, while I understand the frustration and everything that Carlos Adames is going through. I do disagree. I don't think that I listen. Personally, I think that Jermall Charlo is the better boxer between the two. Now, it's no secret that Adames is on a collision course heading towards Jermall Charlo. As evidence, he just like his last 3 opponents have been Charlo's former guys. Obviously, guys that Charlo's beaten. Julian J. Rock Williams, which I felt like that fight should not have been stopped in, but whatever it is, what it is. I think that who was Julian J. Rock Williams? He fought Derevyanchenko. He fought Juan Montiel. So it's no secret that they're on a collision course headed towards Charlo. But my only thing is, listen, bro, and I get it. I understand why they're upset. Because, and rightfully so, they have a right to be upset because Charlo is pretty much holding up the division. Now, I'm no fan of any boxer that holds up the division, even if it's one of my favorite fighters. And I've always been a huge fan of Jermall Charlo. I've been a fan of the Charlos. But again, like I always say, the difference between me and you other guys is I actually hold my favorite fighter to the same standards. I hold them accountable when they're wrong, and I don't make excuses like, some fan bases out there. But I'm not gonna dish y'all in this video. But anyways, I still want to smoke with all y'all because all y'all don't know nothing about boxing. But anyways, so I understand, like, I'm no fan of a boxer holding up a division, and that's exactly what Charlo is doing. Well, he at least holding up a ranking system or organization, because it's like, bro, Charlo has been inactive for 2 years, and that's not fair to Carlos Adames, who's right there knocking on the door to getting a title shot. I mean, I just don't think that that's fair or whatever. But at the same time, I also see a lot of flaws that I feel like Charlo would capitalize off of against Carlos Adames. One, being the better inside fighter. Two, to me, Charlo is the better boxer, period. I think Charlo has a better jab than Adames. I think that Adames has he has decent speed, decent power. I think their speed, you can debate that. If you think Adames is faster, that's cool. Even the power, whatever, cool. But I don't know who hit. I don't know. You would have to ask the guys that they fought who hits. I mean, I think both guys have pop in their power, but I think that Jermall Charlo, I think Adames is very vulnerable. Not very vulnerable, but he leaves himself vulnerable on the inside. I think Jermall Charlo would capitalize off of that. I think, being the Jermall Charlo that fought Sergey Derevyanchenko, I'll say that much. The Jermall, I don't know what Jermall Charlo is like now, because Jermall Charlo has been inactive for 2 years. Well, actually, it'll be, by the time he fights again, it'll be more than 2 years, because it was 2 years last month. June 19th made it 2 years. He hadn't fought since like June 19th of 2021. So I don't know what Jermall Charlo is like now. I would like to see him get a tune-up, but it's also rumored that Jermall Charlo could possibly be fighting Canelo Alvarez in a 3-fight deal that Canelo Alvarez has with Showtime. I'm not feeling that at all. We did see Jermall Charlo is kind of all over the place right now. We did see Jermall Charlo try to make negotiations with Demetrius Andrade. So Carlos Adames has every right to be upset, and I can't even be mad at him, because I will be pissed too, because it's like, bro, you sitting here making all these other fights, bro, but you got me. I'm the interim. At least my whole thing is relinquish the title. If you relinquish the title, then we have nothing to talk about. This is no discussion. But if you're not gonna relinquish the title, then Jermall Charlo, you do need to fight Carlos Adames, because that's not fair to him. He deserves an opportunity. And I'm a Jermall Charlo fan. I don't even care about Carlos Adames. I would hope that Jermall Charlo beats Carlos Adames or whatnot if they were to ever fight. But what's right is what's right, and what's wrong is what's wrong. I put myself in that situation, not just because I'm a fighter myself, but because, like, bro, it's common sense, bro. You holding up the division, let this man fight for his give this man a chance to fight for the title, or like I said, relinquish the belt, whichever one you're gonna do. But regardless, man, listen, I would love to see the fight. I think it makes for a good fight. I would love to see Charlo have a comeback fight first, and then fight Carlos Adames. But Charlo needs to get on the ball quick, man, because the year is already halfway over and you still have not fought. So Charlo's gonna have to get the ball bouncing, man. I don't want Charlo to be another Keith Thurman, doing all these inactivities and all this type of stuff. You know, of course, we know he had, you know, mental health issues, or, you know, he was going through things with his ex-wife now or whatever. But hopefully, man, you can get the ball going. At least have a stay busy fight, a tune-up fight, man. See where you at, man. And then let's get this fight, or move up to 168 and give it a fight that we always wanted with you and Demetrius Andrade. All right. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. But what do I know?